You cup a match low in your two hands, and a third face leans in out of the dark to share the light. You will not remember striking it. You will remember which of the three of you was still breathing when it went out. Out here, it is not the charge you train for that comes for you. It is the match, the water standing at your boots, a scratch on the arm of the man next to you, the canteen coming down the line hand to hand. You will take a dozen wounds that stop just short of finishing you, and every man who takes the one that does not will be close enough to touch. So how many mornings does a body buy you out here? Which small, stupid thing are you already walking toward? And when the guns finally fall quiet, how many of you will still be standing on the fire step? The match flares in the cup of your hands. One face lights. Then a second leans in, and the small flame stretches to reach him. A third face slides out of the dark for his turn. The men say you should never let it go three. The first light tells the far dark you are here. The second lets him settle. On the third, the story goes, he fires. You do not hear the shot over the wind. You only feel the third man's weight go loose against your shoulder, and the flame in your hands puts itself out. Nobody says anything. You had believed the enemy was the wire and the charge. Somewhere out there. It was here, in your two cupped hands, in a kindness the size of a matchstick. This is the rule that keeps you alive out here. Fear the small near thing, never the far horizon. You have not felt your feet in 3 days. The water in the trench never drains. It sits gray and cold around your boots and waits. Tonight you finally work a boot loose in the dark. The sock comes with it. So does the skin. Your foot in your hands is swollen and slick, black climbing up from the toes, and it does not hurt, and that absence is the thing that empties you out. A bullet would have been an enemy. This is just standing. This is just the puddle you slept above, doing to you slowly what no one had to aim. They carry you back down the line, and you keep the foot mostly. You were careful. You stayed off the parapet. You did everything they told you, and the ground still took its piece of you for the crime of standing in it. A new man came up the line last night, still clean, still curious. The sector is called quiet, and he believes that word. This morning he wants to see the ground he keeps hearing about, so he lifts his head over the sandbags, slow, just to look. There is one flat crack from somewhere across the mud. He drops back into the trench beside you, folded and still, the curiosity gone off his face before he even lands. Quiet only means no one has bothered to charge today. It never meant the far dark stopped watching for a head. You did not lift yours. He lifted his. That is the whole difference between the two of you. And out here, it is the only difference there ever is. Your canteen ran dry at noon, and the ration party has not come. By dark, your tongue is thick and your skull pounds, and there is water everywhere, in the shell hole just behind the line, green and still, skimmed with something bright. You know better. You kneel anyway. You cup it to your mouth because the body stops asking permission when it is dry enough. For 2 days after, you are folded over in the mud, turned inside out, burning and empty. But you live. This is the bargain you are starting to understand out here. The thing that keeps you breathing and the thing that poisons you are the same green water, poured from the same cupped hands, and you only get to survive the dose that stops short of finishing you. The man next to you catches a graze across the forearm. Nothing. A red line, the kind of wound you laugh about. He laughs about it. He does not even wrap it well, because there is no clean water to wrap it with. 3 days on, the arm is fat and red to the elbow, then to the shoulder. He stops laughing. He stops knowing your name. By the end, he is shaking on a stretcher, eyes open and gone somewhere else, killed by a scratch that never touched anything that should matter. You have taken far worse and kept walking. He took almost nothing, and it walked up his arm into him. There was no wrong move in it, nothing he could have done. That is what fills your chest as they carry him past. A scratch was allowed to do that, and no one was there to stop it. When the shelling starts, you do what keeps you alive. Get low, get into the deepest corner, put the earth between you and the sky. You press yourself into the bottom of the trench, so does the man beside you. Then you see it, a pale nothing sliding down the trench wall, thicker than the air, pouring into the low corner where you both crouch. It has been finding the lowest place the whole time, the same place you ran to for safety. Your hands get your mask on. They know the drill, and they do it half a second faster than his do. He is still fighting the straps when the pale air reaches him. The corner you both trusted, the safest, lowest ground, was where it pooled first. Low was never down out of the danger. Low was the drain the danger ran into. After the Germans pull back, the ground they left is full of gifts. A fine officer's pistol lies half in the mud, black and perfect, worth a month of payback home. The man ahead of you sees it first. You watch him want it. You want it too. He crouches, works it loose, and behind it, a thin wire you never saw draws tight out of the muck. They rigged the leaving. They knew exactly which small greed a tired man cannot walk past. His hand closed on the prize, not yours, and that is the only reason it is him they carry off and not you. You wanted it half a second slower than he did. Out here, that half second is the whole of your luck, and you are starting to hate how much of you is only luck. The deep dugout is the one place you are told to feel safe. Timbered, roofed, dug down under the shelling where the big rounds cannot reach. You sleep there when you can. Tonight you are down in the black, actually asleep, when a low shell finds the ground above and the whole roof comes down, beams and earth, and the weight of the world folding onto your chest. You cannot move. You cannot fill your lungs. You count your own heartbeats in the dark and lose the count. Then hands, digging, dragging you up out of the earth into air you did not think you would taste again. You live. Two others in the same safe room never wake, and no one reaches them in time. The deep place built to keep you was just a grave with a roof on it, waiting for one round to close the lid. Your back knots up after hours folded double in the trench. Everyone's does. The man 3 down from you cannot take it anymore, and he stands. Just stands. Straightens his spine, rolls the ache out of his shoulders in the gray light. A human back, doing the most human thing there is. One shot comes from the far dark. He goes down the way a coat slides off a hook. He did not raise up to be brave or to see the enemy. He raised up because a body cannot stay bent forever. That was all it took. You keep yourself folded and cramped and low, aching, because the war has taught you that comfort is the bait, and the far dark is always, always watching for the shape of a man standing straight. The rats own the trench at night. They are fat, fatter than you are now, and they reach the rations first. You find your tin already opened, the meat inside chewed and fouled, their filth worked through it. You are too hungry to be careful. You scrape off what you can see and you eat the rest, because a body that is not eaten in 2 days does its sums differently than your mother would. By dark you are doubled over, gripping your own stomach, sweating it back out both ends, and still you live. The food that keeps you standing and the filth that drops you are the same tin, eaten with the same hands, and you are learning to stop being surprised by that. Everyone carries them. You run a candle flame down the seams of your coat and hear them pop, dozens of them, and by morning there are dozens more. There is no winning it. It is just the itch you live inside now. The man who shares your stretch of the fire step carries the same seams full of the same small crawling things. Then the fever takes him. Not a wound, not a shot, nothing the enemy did. He shakes on a stretcher far from any fight, burning, carried out of a war he never once got the chance to be killed by. The stories name the fever different ways. The one that kills came off the same little things every man on the line wears next to his skin. You itch, and you burn for a week too. You come through it. He does not, and he never fired at a thing. Then the whistle. This is the death you were trained for, the one you have braced for since the first day. Up the ladder, over the top, out into the open ground you are forbidden even to look at. You climb because the whistle says climb. The men on either side of you are the trained ones, the strong ones, the ones who drilled hardest and swore they would be fine. A wall of fire comes across the open, the second you are all upright. It takes the front rank first, the best of them, in a single sweep, the way you cut a line through tall grass. It does not check who trained hardest. It does not care who prayed the night before. Something hits you and lifts you off your feet and lays you in the mud, and you are down, and you are breathing. You lived. Not because you were better than the men dropping around you. You lived because the round that found you stopped short of finishing you, and theirs did not, and there was never anything more to it than that. You are out in the open now, and you have to cross it. The wire is everywhere, low and black and waiting, uncut where they swore it would be cut. It hooks your coat, your sleeve, your leg, and it holds you out here upright, stuck fast in the one place a man must never stop moving. A flare goes up and turns the whole night white. It lights you like a thing pinned to a board. You do not think. You tear, you rip the cloth and the skin under it. You leave a piece of yourself on the barbs, and you throw your body sideways into a shell hole as the ground where you stood erupts. You keep the leg, you take the wound that stops short. The wire only wanted to hold you still in the light long enough, and you paid it in flesh and bought back the half-second you needed. They pull you back to the rear billet, behind the line, where men are allowed to forget for an hour. There is a table, there are cards, there is laughing, actual laughing, the sound you had almost lost. You step out for a moment just to the doorway, just to breathe. The shell comes down through the roof, into the middle of the table, into the middle of the laughing, and the room you sat in a breath ago is gone, with everyone who stayed at the cards. There is no rear far enough. The safe place behind the line is only the place the next shell has not reached yet. You stepped out. They did not. You will spend a long time trying to make that mean something, and it will not, because it never does. Frost comes down on the fire step in the night and turns everything to iron. You are on watch. The cold is not a threat out in front of you. It is already inside your coat, inside your chest, pulling your eyes closed, promising it only wants you to hold still for a while. Every disciplined part of you wants to stand quiet and steady at your post. You force yourself to move instead. Stamp, shift, curse under your breath, keep the blood going against every instinct to settle. At dawn, they find the other sentry a few bays down, still standing, upright at his post, blue and hard and gone. He did the disciplined thing. He held perfectly still. The stillness they trained into him is the very thing that killed him, and the only reason you are warm enough to shake is that you broke the rule all night long. A canteen comes down the packed line, hand to hand, the way it always does. Water shared is the last decent thing you have left to give each other. The man who passes it to you is coughing, gray, wrong in the face, but everyone coughs out here, and you are thirsty, and it is only water. You drink, you pass it on. Within days, the line is not thinning by shell fire. It is rows of the same men laid out on stretchers, drowning in themselves, taken by a sickness that rode down the line inside the one kind thing left between you. It kills as fast as the machine guns, and it never needed the enemy at all. You burn with it too. You come through. Half the faces that drank before you and after you do not, and no gun was ever aimed at a single one of them. A shell lands close, too close, and the trench wall you have been sheltering against comes for you instead. The blast throws the whole side of the trench over you, and the earth closes over your face in a single instant. It is black, and it is heavy, and it is in your mouth. The wall that stood between you and the open, the thing at your back you trusted all tour, is now the thing pressing the air out of you. You get one arm free. You claw with it. You drag your own weight up through the dirt by that one arm, inch by inch, until your face breaks into daylight and you breathe like it is the first time. You dig yourself out. The shelter and the grave were the same wall of earth, and it only ever depended on which way it decided to fall. There is a place on the trench floor where the wall is worn into a step, and everyone uses it to climb the bend. Boots up, over, down the other side, all day long. You use it too. You stopped seeing weeks ago that the step is a man. He went into the mud, and the mud would not give him back, and the tour simply wore a path over him, because the living have to get past somehow. That you no longer notice him is the thing that should frighten you. A shell finds that exact bend one gray afternoon, the one worn spot every boot on the line steps through, and it takes the men crowded there. The war does not only kill you. First, it makes a boy under your boots into a stare you forget to grieve, and then it comes for the stare. Word comes down the line that it is ending. There is a time on it now, 11 o'clock, an actual hour when the guns are meant to stop for good. The man beside you has his watch out. You count it down together, the two of you, the last minutes of the whole war, close enough to touch the way every one of them always was. You have made it, you both have. You are already thinking about the after, about doors and roads and a table with no roof over it. In the final minute, a single shell drops out of a sky that is about to fall silent forever. When the smoke lifts, he is gone. In the last minute of a war that everyone already knew was over, and you are still on your feet, spattered with him, still breathing. The guns stop. It is quiet for the first time in years, and that quiet is the worst sound you have ever heard, because it came 1 minute too late for the man who was counting it down beside you. The guns have stopped. You stand on the fire step in a silence that does not feel like peace yet, and you look down the line at all the empty places. The match, the corner, the card table, the last minute, each one a man who stood close enough to touch. Then you look down at your own two hands. These same hands turn a clean tap in a warm room, and the water comes, and you drink it without listening for anything. They press a bandage over a small cut, and you never once fear it could climb your arm and take you. They pull dry socks onto dry feet. They put out a light and lay you down in a bed, and you sleep, and you do not lie there listening for the shell. That ordinary morning of yours, the tap and the bandage and the dry socks and the sleep, is a margin. A boy on a fire step bought it with his last morning and passed it down the line to you, and you have never once felt its edge. Feel it now.